It's nice to see y'all. On the count of three, I would like to meet everybody here, so could you all say your name? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. What's up? I'm going to read you some poems. This is for Jen. Everybody give Jen a hand. Baba way, Baba way, Baba way, Baba way. If my hands were anything other than hands, if my hands were anything other than hands, if my hands were anything other than hands, they would be two shooting stars galloping light across the galaxy. They would be a twin fandango of diamond-studded fingerprints, hopscotching a radiant neon merengue of light from each folded velvet edge of midnight into every tiny galaxy of 14-karat suns. My shooting star hands would reach and leap and turn the faces of every burning celestial pedestrian, star-grazed and gazing, bright-eyed, amazed, and awestruck as my shooting star hands whip by in a flurry of pirouettes, spitting sparks and spilling light like each finger is a silver Bic flip lighter, flicking flames of hope into the open faces of those twinkling pale and incandescent sisters whose tears glisten and litter the blistering avenue like sequins. I say now, can you see it? How my shooting star hands would wow and bow them right out of their everyday orbits, turn their glowing dashboard Virgin Mary faces into an illuminated orchestra of rubies and gladiolas. Right before your very eyes, if my hands were anything other than hands, they would be a street corner jazz quintet. They would be a 10-fingered symphony of saxophones, trombones, clarinets, and trumpets, wailing, rowdy, loud, and proud. Right out from under my fingernails, the song would swell and ring. It would leap from lampposts and reach into people's houses. It would bring mothers and sons come to dance in the middle of the street with fathers and daughters, and perhaps if my hands were a big bad jazz band, there would be no vicious, evil, and cruel death on the avenue, because I would send my fingers flying in a furious hurricane of eighth notes to just slap right into the faces of any slick-tongued, gun-toting mamma jamma who would come to steal my brother's breath. We'd be all song and dance and celebration, just the way we're supposed to be. If my hands were anything other than hands, they would be 2 magic wands. They would be 10 abracadabra fingers for me to bring back every bebop biscuit-baking grandmother that we ever lost, every sweet and remarkable friend that we didn't even realize was sweet or remarkable until death stole them from under our breath while we was looking over our shoulder at the bus stop, and then all of a sudden it was gone. And for a moment, if my hands were magic wands, I would bring them back. And we could look them in the eye. For a moment, we could hold them, and we could tell them all of the things that we never got to say. If my hands were anything other than hands, they would be an entire conversation of miracles for me to cure you of any cancer that ever ailed you. They would be a conjure woman's cupboard of spells and incantations, and I would reach right through your breastbone to ease your heartache. If my hands were anything other than hands, they would be a tangible forgiveness that I could rub into your skin like lotion, have forgiveness leaping from person to person to person, more infectious than HIV and tuberculosis put together. If my hands were anything other than hands, they would be mirrors, and I would shine them up to your face so you could see yourself as immutably remarkable as God made you. If my hands were anything other than hands, they would be 2 turntables and a microphone. But mostly, if my hands were anything other than hands, they would be 2 shooting stars galloping light across the galaxy. So, I got something for you. The other day, I saw my friend Barbara in the grocery store, and I said, oh my God, you look so cute. Her hair was growing back in this really sleek aerodynamic cap of gray fuzz. I said, ooh, you are hips to hip, and you don't even have to wear skinny jeans. She said, yeah, it's growing back in a mohawk. And I said, how are you doing? And she says, you know, the thing is, I didn't hear them the first time they told me. I mean, they must have said the same thing 4 or 5 times. Everybody else in the room heard it, but it was like in one ear, out the other. She told me, she said, they said that the tumors aren't going to go away. She said they're not. She said once they stop treatment, they're going to stay. They're going to grow back. They are fast. They're voracious. She says to the doctors, how long do I have? And they tell her, you can have this long, you can have that long. Here's what we know. We're going to see you next week. We're going to see you the week after that, and we're going to see you the week after that. And here's the thing. If there is something that you want to do it now. And if you're lucky, you may get to do it twice. And then she smiled. She says, can you believe that? If there's something I want to do, I can do it now. And if I'm lucky, I get to do it twice. So here is to this. Here is to now. Here is to us. 422 large Northwest labs, Harvard, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Here is to your hands, to taking the day without hesitation. Here's to owning up to the miraculous occasion of your own breath and your own ideas. Here's to holding the moment in your hands, looking it in the eye and shaking with it if need be. Here are to all of those whimsical little notebooks that you filled, to your favorite paperbacks. Here are to all your unconnected hobbies. Here is to climbing the mountain, scaling the walk, crossing the line. Here is to passion, to plasticity, to all of the women who have gotten over their extraordinary need to people please. Here are to the hackers, hashtags. Here are to the startups, to Apollos Media, to Red Thread, to Rollo May, to Rachel Cole, to Science Friday and Radio Lab. Here is to dancing a little bit every day, even if you look a little weird, crazy. Here's to making people laugh. Here's to laughing at yourself. Here's to owning up to the healing joy of laughter. Here is to taking the chance, to refusing to live within the same rut. Here's to trusting your gut. Here's to living, laughing, loving, and learning, crying a little bit every day. Here is to you that you might rise and prevail. Rise as in the sun. Get up from which you was and come on. Move forward. Put one foot in the front of the other and say something nice if you want to. And if you don't want to say something nice, then you feel free to tell the truth. Then tell your story. Then re-story your story and rise.